I don't know how many of you have already seen this video that was doing the rounds on Twitter, but Jacinda Ardern is the current Prime Minister of New Zealand, who are taking the Australian approach, it seems, to COVID-19 by becoming a fucking authoritarian hellhole and essentially a regime. But Jacinda Ardern agrees that COVID plan will lead to two-tier society. That is what it is. And basically, I've not got the video here, but she's sitting there, like smug, and they're like, "This will create a two-tier society," and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, that's what it is." And she's like so happy and chuffed and proud of herself that she is essentially creating an Untermensch society within her country. And I've never, basically, you've heard that phrase: when they tell you who they are, believe them. Yeah, that's definitely the case here. Jacinda Ardern said that is what it is when asked if New Zealand's COVID policies will create a two-tiered society with non-vaccinated citizens enjoying fewer rights than those who have been vaccinated. And that's one thing, and the vast majority, like, people out there, like, support it. They want the Jim Crow days where you had the coloureds and non-coloureds fucking drinking fountains. They want that, except for vaccinated and unvaccinated people, and their justification for that is, well, being black isn't a choice, but being unvaccinated is. And it's like, oh, right, okay, so it's not a choice then, that's fine. So I guess that means that you're allowed to violate human rights. It's like, yeah, like, what to violate human rights, but like, don't want to look like a dick when I'm doing it. These wee fucking authoritarians. A journalist from the New Zealand Herald asked the Prime Minister, "You've basically said, and you probably don't see it like this, but two different classes of people if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. If you're vaccinated, you have all these rights." In response, the New Zealand Prime Minister smiled and nodded, saying, "That is what it is." So basically, do what the government tells you or get your rights taken away. And she's so happy, she's so pleased. She is so pleased about it. Like, she's practically like sliding off her fucking chair while she's answering like that. The new plans, which she said were designed to boost vaccination rates by force and public confidence. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, that's definitely a government. The Prime Minister acting like that. Yeah, that's good. That's going to boost public confidence in the government. Were outlined at a press conference last Friday. She said that 90% of New Zealanders needed to be fully vaccinated in each region before the whole country can start loosening restrictions. So even though 90% vaccination rate, that's only when they will start loosening restrictions. I think the restrictions are here to stay. The government, even if like COVID, like right now, like magically just died everywhere and didn't exist anymore, the restrictions are here to stay. Like they see all this. It's just a temporary measure. Shite. Shite. It's not temporary. It's not temporary. You passed these laws knowing full well you were going to keep them forever. The new plans, drawn up as a traffic light system, will see those who are fully vaccinated be able to move around and use services relatively freely. In other words, there will still be restrictions in place, but it'll be kind of like the way it was before. The red stage of the plans will also see businesses remain open. Oh, how nice that businesses are allowed to open. However, unvaccinated citizens will be faced with much tighter restrictions, being unable to use close contact businesses like restaurants, bars, and gyms. Watch that list grow, because that's going to happen. They will also be prevented from gathering in groups of more than 10 people. But it should be fine because, it's vaccination. Vaccination protects you, so don't know what you're worried about. But I'm saying the vaccine's effective. That's what everyone's been telling me. So they have nothing to worry about. Ardern has so far been praised for her pandemic response. No, she hasn't. With the country's infection and death rates both remaining low throughout the crisis, but concerns have been raised that New Zealand's Maori population will be disproportionately impacted by the system as vaccination rates remain low. Maori Party co-leader Rawiri Waititi likened the policies to Squid Game, the new Netflix show which sees contestants compete in children's games while the losers are executed. I thought that was the end of it there. I was like, I'll just end it there. Mr. Waititi said, "The PM says no one will be left behind. That means, what she means is no one will be left behind except for Maori. Let the Squid Games begin." I like this guy. Modelling by Te Punaha Matatini found that Maori were 2.5 times more likely to be hospitalised with COVID-19 than non-Maori after controlling for age and pre-existing conditions. Maori are also more likely to have pre-existing conditions like diabetes and asthma, putting them at greater risk if they contract COVID-19. Co-leader Debbie Gawera Packer, don't know, on every single COVID indicator, Maori are significantly behind every other ethnicity. On every single indicator, Maori are likely to take the biggest hits from a Delta outbreak, vaccinated or not, which means it seems that the Maori are going to be some of the primary people that are affected and have their rights strictly violated. You know, return. Return to tradition. Colonialism's back, boys. New Zealand has so far seen 28 coronavirus-related deaths and 5,638 cases. Miss Ardern said, if you are still unvaccinated, not only will you be more at risk of catching COVID-19, but many of the freedoms others enjoy will be out of reach. Yo, it's you that's doing it. It's you, that's a total, look what you made me do. That man, like, it's you that's taking the freedoms away. Not COVID. It's you. Like, COVID isn't like isn't forming a giant bouncer made out of viruses that's stopping people from getting into nightclubs and going about their daily lives. It's you, it's the government. No one wants that to happen, but we need to minimise the threat of the virus, which is now mainly spreading amongst unvaccinated people. As of last Sunday, only 58% of the New Zealand population was fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated. Well, that's not true anymore. That's not true anymore. You need boosters. There's no such thing now as fully vaccinated, at least as far as, COVID-19 goes. You need your boosters. I'm just saying, I'm just going off what I've been told. Like that there is medical misinformation. I'm calling out medical misinformation. You cannot be fully vaccinated against COVID. You have to keep getting your boosters. Unless I'm wrong, I'm literally repeating what mainstream's told me. I mean, I hope I'm not wrong. But then again, mainstream media told me it, so it's a fact. It's completely true. So obviously, there you go. It's factual. It's not wrong. Judith Collins, New Zealand leader of the opposition, condemned the plans as dismaying, confusing, and complicated, arguing that Aucklanders would end up being held to ransom by some people who don't want to get vaccinated, and that is something that is definitely going to happen. How long before they send out the vans? The vans with the men in the great big boots. The policy change marks an end of the country's long-held COVID elimination strategy, which involved banning international travel and imposing strict lockdowns when any new cases were detected. And now there we go. That actually is the end of the article, and this is just outright authoritarianism. And like, I advise that you go out and you find the video. Look at that fucking face. Oh, do you want your rights? You want your rights? Do you want your national rights? You want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? Do you? Get your vaccine. Like, it's just honestly, it's utter authoritarianism. But like, it's not like governments to let a good tragedy go to waste. This isn't about saving lives. This is about increasing power. This is about increasing government power. That's what it's always been about. That's why all these temporary measures have been put in place permanently. The income tax was supposed to be temporary. Fucking Patriot Act was supposed to be temporary. Snooper's Charter was supposed to be temporary. Right? Any temporary government power, it's not temporary. I can't even think of an example. There might be some, but I can't even think of an example of a temporary power that was then actually taken away, once all the fuckery stopped. Just absolute power grab. Government's going to government, authoritarian's going to authoritarian. And it turns out that Jacinda here is one of the worst.